What's going on, guys? It's Matt, and today I'm going to be talking about the game that I feel, in my personal opinion, deserves to be Game of the Year. So this is my personal choice for Game of the Year, tailored to my interests personally. That's how that works. I have an opinion. Wow, who knew? But, I looked at, I know we're not at the end of the year yet. It's October 25th, currently, at the time of this recording. But the thing is, for the entire month of November and December, fucking nothing's coming out. Nothing anybody cares about is coming out. So, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do my Game of the Year video right now. And I figured this would be a video that you guys would be interested in. So, for me, it was a toss-up between a few games. I kind of feel bad, though, because there's so many games that came out this year that I didn't even play yet. Like, for example, I feel like if I played Metroid Dread, that it would probably be a contender for my Game of the Year. Because I'm pretty confident that I would love that game if I played it, but I'm just in no hurry to play it. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what it is about Nintendo games, but either I don't buy them at all, or when I do buy them, I buy them really fucking late. But, yeah, so I do feel kind of bad that I'm making this ranking without having played, like, some of the best games that the year had to offer. Also, The World Ends With You, the sequel to that, came out this year, which is another game I wish I had played. But, yeah, for the games that I have bought and played this year, I also really wanted to play the new Ratchet, and I heard it was great. It's just, I cannot justify dropping full price on a Ratchet game, because, like, I eat those games up. I would be done with that game in literally a matter of days. So I can't justify dropping $100, because that's how much fucking PS5 games are nowadays, in Canada anyway. Gaming is very expensive, and it only seems to be getting more expensive. But yeah, so for me personally, it was a toss-up between 3 games, I would say. And the games that were in the running were Resident Evil Village. I did really enjoy that game. It was very good. I can't bring myself to call it Game of the Year, however, because it just had so many problems. Like, it's a great game. I loved Village. It was so much fun. But the fucking... I mean, I could talk about everything I dislike about it, and we'd be here all day. But to summarize, Ethan Winters fucking sucks, and he's one of the worst main characters, like, in a video game ever, let alone Resident Evil. I can't stand his story. I don't give a shit about him. He's a shitty character with a boring backstory, and he's just fucking boring and lame almost all of the time that he's existing. And the plot of Village started off pretty interesting and cool, and then by the end of the game, I was just like, what the fuck has happened to my franchise? Like, now I'm just nothing but scared and fearful and worried about the future of Resident Evil. I'm not going to get too much into that, and I don't want to spoil it in case any of you guys haven't played it. But yeah, like, those are the things I really disliked about Village. But pretty much everything else, like, involving the gameplay, I loved, and it was a very fun game to play. So it's a good game, but because the problems I have with it are so, like, staggering for me personally, I cannot bring myself to call it Game of the Year. It was one that I considered, definitely. It came to mind right away. But yeah, ultimately, that's a no-go. Village is not Game of the Year material, in my opinion. And then the next game that instantly came to mind, and the only other game I played this year that, like, genuinely made me super excited, was Tales of Arise. It's such a fucking great game. I loved Tales of Arise so much. I'm a huge fan of the Tales series as well as Resident Evil. And I've been playing the series since Symphonia on the GameCube. The series has had kind of a bad streak over the past few years. Like, the Exilia games weren't anything extraordinary. I know I'm in the minority on this, but I fucking couldn't stand Berseria. I couldn't even finish it. So many people love that game, and I genuinely don't understand why. I think it's pretty awful for a lot of reasons. I guess my two main reasons as to why it's awful is that the main character is trash. Like, hot fucking garbage. Velvet sucks. She's just the most boring, broken record ever. Oh, vengeance, like, you're gonna freaking... Like, talk about a one-note fucking character. Like, there's no substance or depth to her. She's just... Oh, I need freaking revenge. Like, fuck off. Velvet sucks. She's awful. And most of the party I found to be pretty unremarkable. Like, there's a couple cool characters, like Aizen and Rokuro are, like, pretty damn cool. But everyone else is just kind of meh. And the story's meh. The gameplay is... ugh. The gameplay's gross. Just the fact that in order to use the character's special abilities, you have to spend your fucking bar, and then you have to re-earn it back. It doesn't regen on its own. Like, it feels like the game is punishing you for doing a cool combo. It's the worst fucking feeling ever, and I just do not, nor will I ever understand why Berseria is so liked in the Tales franchise, but I digress. Arise, the main reason I talked as much about Berseria as I did is because Arise was just such a great transition into the next generation consoles, and what a great Tales game. Like, the series really came back strong. Arise had a lot of new and unique ideas. It changed quite a few things from the usual format that we're used to with the Tales franchise, and it took risks, but those risks paid off. Like, Arise did so many things right. It's by far not a perfect Tales game, let alone game in general, but I feel like any JRPG fan can really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to play. The battle system is very fun. It gets kind of repetitive after enough hours, but it's still addicting enough where, like, you can still enjoy it. It didn't start feeling repetitive until, like, the very end of my time with the game, and it took me roughly a little over 80 hours to do everything there was to do in the game. So, yeah, and it was just such a lovable experience. The story was good. Not the greatest story I've ever heard, but it was good. The party members, the cast, all so lovable. I love the fucking characters in this game. They're all very relatable, all very likable with great qualities, and I just love seeing their journeys and what they go through and how they develop. It's such a fun time. I love it. And it's also one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in general. They really went all out on changing up the graphics and making everything look just absolutely gorgeous. It being on PS5 probably has something to do with that, but they did noticeably change the aesthetic and the art style from what we're used to. Because I swear, ever since Exilia came out, every game just kind of looked the same. But Arise, I feel, was the first one to really, like, make a drastic change in how everything looked. So yeah, Arise was just a fantastic fucking game, and I loved it. But ultimately, I think my Game of the Year choice is going to be Hitman 3. Hitman 3, well, for one, let me just start off by saying I love the new Hitman games. I only got into the series with the new Hitman, the one that came out in 2016, that I guess was kind of like a reboot to the series. But they came out with 2 more games after that, forming a trilogy. And what's really cool about the Hitman games, and it's an undeniable fact about how great these games are, is that when Hitman 2 came out, it included the entire first game in the game, so you essentially had both games in one. And then when Hitman 3 came out, it did the exact same thing. So Hitman 3 is like the completed fucking edition. The fact that the games are there all in one, like, it's hella convenient. If you've been buying the franchise up to this point, I never need to go back and, like, play an older one. I could just play all 3 games on one game, and that's hella convenient. So Hitman 3, just in terms of sheer fucking content, it is a massive, massive game. It has hundreds of hours worth of content for sure. And the new Hitman games are just so much fucking fun. Like, the new Hitman just kind of brought all these new elements into the Hitman formula, and ever since the first one back in 2016, they've just been only improving upon those elements and adding to the games and making the formula that much more fun and smoothed out and ironed out. And it's just a great fucking game to mess around in. Like, they're kind of... Each level in Hitman is like a big sandbox, and it's like yours to explore and roam around and test shit out and literally just do whatever the hell you want to do. It's a great game in the sense that, like, you have the freedom to play the game exactly the way you want to play it and how you want to enjoy it. For example, the game has these, like, mission stories, and by default, the game kind of, like, holds your hand and babies you a little bit, and it just shows you where exactly on the map to go to do these things. But what's beautiful is if you don't like having your hand being held through a game, you could just go in the settings and turn that off, and you could play the game in a way where, like, you could just explore the game at your own pace and happen upon these things naturally and organically if you wanted to. And the fact that the game gives you the option to do that if you want to is just a thing of beauty, and it's something that a lot of video games don't do and more of them need to do. Like, if the more options you can give to the player to, like, tailor make the game and experience it the way they want to fit their exact needs and desires, the more shit like that you add in your game is just, it's only a good thing. There is literally no downside to doing that, and it's just a mark of a good game developer. Like, these guys understand what it's like to enjoy a great game and have fun, and they really pulled out all the stops to make sure that you could do that. And I've always been a big fan of violence, so naturally the Hitman games just really hit close to home for me. I love all the creative and crazy nutty ways that you can kill people. It's just, there's nothing more satisfying than planning this entire fucking elaborate plan to kill someone and having, you know, and working so hard towards that goal and then finally seeing it unfold and happen right in front of you. All your hard work being put to use, only to get this huge payoff and see this really creative and awesome, fun way of someone being murdered. And it's just, it's so great, it's so enjoyable, it's so addicting. These games are just so much fun, and if you haven't played them, I would highly recommend playing the new Hitman games. But yeah, Hitman 3, easily my #1 choice for Game of the Year. Good job, IO Interactive. You guys did a tremendous job making great games, and I really hope to play more Hitman in the future. I'm a little late to the party, but better late than never, as they say, and these games are absolutely fantastic. Well, that was it for my Game of the Year choice. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to leave a comment. Tell me if you agree with me. Did you think Hitman is worth being Game of the Year? What's your personal Game of the Year if you had to pick one? Go ahead and feel free to share that in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course hit that notification bell to support me. I would really appreciate it. And hey, in case you didn't know this about me, I also love to live stream, so if you're ever around and you got some spare free time and you want to come chill with the boys and some girls, then feel free to do that. It'd be awesome having more people around. The more the merrier. So, and I live stream here on my channel as well as on Twitch, so check that out if that interests you, or if not, then don't! Anyways, I'm out. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy, and I will definitely see you in the next one.